Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
What's up, everybody? It's Michael, and I wanted to tell you about the upcoming Brewstock Music Festival that we are hosting here at the Rooster on Saturday, July 22nd, headlined by A Killer's Confession. Now, I'm going to let Nestor, Todd, and Pete tell you about all the fun things we have in store.
Well, as you heard, we are Brewstock Music Festival, coming to you live, like you said, from July 22nd out of Gastonia, North Carolina, hosted by the beautiful Rooster and the beautiful city of Gastonia. We hope to see everybody here. Like you said, we have A Killer's Confession headlining this year, which is huge for us. If you guys don't know, Waylon, the main singer, he used to be in Mushroom Head. Great music. If you haven't, check them out. Check them out now. We have 20 bands total, with some acoustic acts as well, for a fun day of family-filled, all ages. Not only music, but crafts, beer, fun, family atmosphere, and just one hell of a day of entertainment that you won't want to miss.
Yeah, we've got, like I said, we got many sponsors coming on board with us. We got, as of right now, we've got about 15, 16, and they're continuing to grow every day. So get your spots as soon as you can. We got all our details on our website and also on our Facebook page detailing the tier levels and stuff. So jump on with us and let's have a great time.
You can get your tickets for $20 in advance. If you buy them from the bands, they will receive a cut, so please support them. And those bands such as Home for the Day, Dying Oath, A War to Win, Elderbug, touring bands such as Keep Your Secrets and Your Cousin's Girlfriend's House, and so many more. If you do not buy them in advance, they will be $25 at the door, all ages. Come have a fun-filled day with this great music and great beer.
That's right. I want to give a quick shout-out to Mr. Elijah Ray, who I'm so happy got the spot on this. Elijah Ray's been coming to our open mics, and Elijah Ray will be performing at Brewstock. Get here early to see him. But music's not the only thing we got going on. Like Nestor said, we're going to have crafts. There's going to be lots of brew. It is called Brewstock. There will be great brews. Now, Arielle, tell them what to expect with the Misfit Market that will be on site.
So we're going to have 20 vendors. And we're going to have a variety of stuff. We're going to have some of our vendors from the Misfit Market, and we'll have gathered some other local vendors to come out and share their wares. So just come out, visit them. There's going to be something for everybody.
That's right. So that is Saturday, July 22nd, right here at the Rooster. We'll have music inside and outside in the back parking lot. And I just want to take a moment and say thank you to the fellows that organized this festival, the promoters. These guys worked so hard. They've built something awesome, and they've decided to bring it here to us, to Gastonia, to the Rooster. So let's get out and support them, and let's make this the best one they've done yet.
Yep. Remember, all ages. If you buy a ticket, kids under 10 will get in free with a paid adult ticket. So all ages, bring your kids, bring the family. Just have fun, man. Introduce them to what you love, and, let's keep this going.
We'll see you there.
Yep.
take you out because you're trash.
Fucking us in the ass! Fucking us in the ass! Hope you're having a blast! Fucking us in the ass!
Have you ever been ignored by the ones you seek? Oh yeah. Are you sick and tired of all these creeps? You know it. Following you around like vultures all the time, making you feel uncomfortable. So annoying. I think we should do something about them. Totally. So that they'll never mess with us again. Oh yeah. I think we should get revenge and take them out because they're trash.
Fucking us in the ass! Fucking us in the ass! Hope you're having a blast! Fucking us in the ass! Fucking us in the ass! Fucking us in the ass! Hope you're having a blast! Fucking us in the ass!
All right. Yeah, you guys kind of remind me of like a alternative band from the '90s. You got that vibe going for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Think like Hole and bands like that.
And I don't know. I hear, for like, who were your, like your, what is the word?
Influences?
Influences. Jeez, I can't. My brain.
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Well, I guess I'd take a little bit from every decade.
Okay.
Mainly rock music, of course. But yeah, I really liked grunge. I had a big grunge phase where I was really into that. I love psychedelic music as well, like from the 60s and 70s. Love Pink Floyd. They're a big one. But yeah, also 80s. That's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm really into like post-punk, gothic rock. So like love The Cure, Susie and the Banshees, Bauhaus. Yeah, and there's just also dark wave, shoegaze, big influences. So I'd say mainly that.
Like vocally, when I was listening to it, I could hear. Your voice reminds me of the singer from the Donnas just a little bit, like your tone.
I don't think I've heard of them.
Really?
I'll check them out.
If you took Motley Crue and you turned it into an all-female band, that's what you'd get with the Donnas. You've got
Okay,
that,
they sound cool.
like that sort of 90s grungy, but a little bit of the glam rock.
Yeah.
And they can be kind of raunchy, but it's fun.
Okay. I'll check them out. Yeah.
Well, what drew me into you guys in the first place was going and listening to your stuff on streaming. There was like a snarkiness to the way you write lyrics, the way you sing and stuff that was really I was digging that vibe. Like, you've got this whole kind of attitude that's it's not in a good way. You know what I mean? Like like some of your songs kind of make me chuckle. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So that's when I first listened to you. That's when I was like, I need to check these guys out.
Yeah.
So let's start at the beginning. True. By the way, we're talking to Chloe of True Lilith. Thanks for coming in today. How did True Lilith start? Did you have any bands before? Like, talk a little bit about how you got started in the scene.
Yeah, this is the only band that I've had. I just knew that I wanted to start a project for, I guess, a creative outlet of writing songs, and I played guitar first, so I just always wanted to be in a band. So I was like, well, I didn't have any luck joining a band necessarily.
Did you try? Were you going around talking to people like, can I join your band?
Yeah, I guess. I didn't really know a lot of people, so I was just like, I'll just start a band then. And I, was like, I'll find a bassist and drummer, and so it just kind of got started like that. But yeah, I was about 18. Just kind of freshman in college, and yeah, then shortly after that everything kind of stopped because the pandemic happened.
So as soon as you got going.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I'm glad that you didn't let the pandemic kill the dream, so to speak. A lot of people hung it up, during the pandemic. But who got you your first guitar? Who taught you guitar? Was that did your parents influence you on that? What got you into it?
Actually, so no one else in my family really plays guitar. My uncle plays guitar, my grandma plays piano, but it was actually a Guitar Hero that got me into it.
Who says video games are a waste of time?
Yeah, and I'm not even a gamer, but I just vividly remember it was Christmas, and I think I just turned 8, and I really wanted a Wii, so this was 2007, 2008, and yeah, I remember asking for one. I really wanted Wii Sports and the girly games, but I woke up and Santa, or my dad, he had got me a Wii, and I was super excited. And then I saw the games that he got, and I saw this game called Guitar Hero, and it had all these kind of creepy looking people with makeup on. And I just was kind of
Kiss? Was Kiss on that?
I think someone inspired by them, definitely a character. But yeah,
I
there
think
was.
Kiss did that little guitar they had. I think they did a Kiss one because they got to slap their logo on anything that moves.
Yeah.
There's a Kiss rock band.
Oh yeah, it's rock.
Yep.
It's rock
band's the
band.
one that
Okay,
has
that's
all
what
the,
it is.
collabs with all the different bands.
Yeah.
Yeah, so during that time, I was living in Raleigh. We had a group of friends. We had the rock band, which I guess was for a different system.
Yeah.
That's rock band is how I learned about Killswitch Engage. I did not know about Killswitch Engage until Rock Band came out.
Guitar Hero is how I discovered All That Remains.
Nice.
It basically shaped my music taste. So Smashing Pumpkins, I forgot, but yeah, loved the Rolling Stones. Everything I heard on that kind of introduced it to me at a very young age. So I had a solid set list of where to go whenever it came to music, and yeah, that just kind of sparked my interest to play real guitar.
Now, were some of these bands, were they from what your parents listened to, or?
Yeah, definitely. I think Alice in Chains, Nirvana are on there. I had Guitar Hero 3. That was the one I really remember. But yeah, mainly my dad, not so much my mom, because she liked country music. And,
Okay.
I was exposed to that as well, but it just didn't really resonate with me.
Stick, yeah.
So yeah, then I
Little too
finally found
simple.
that. I was like, rock music is what I like. So yeah.
Nice. It's so encouraging for me to see youth getting into rock and roll and stuff. Because it does. My daughter's a preteen and she just does not give a shit about rock and roll. She's all about hip hop and pop and stuff, which is fine.
My kid's the one that likes to, Mom, have you heard of this band? I like this group. And I'm like, no, I haven't. This is a little, here, listen. So we educate each other on stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, right now she's listening to Yeet.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know who that is.
my wife and I tried to because when she brings up an artist, we'll be like, well, let's check them out. Like our hope is that we're gonna dig it, so that we
Right.
can connect with her on that. And we pulled up Yeet, and it's all like like just mumbling.
Yeah.
And Chrissy and I looking at each other like, how does she even know what he's saying? But people said, our parents said the same shit with some of the screamo stuff. So I'm not hating, okay? I'm just saying it's not very good.
Turn it down.
Now, the older you get, do you find yourself exploring different types of music? I mean, with you being an artist, personally, I think it's important to have an open mind in terms of musical taste, because you could be inspired from anything. Even though, like, country's not the most inspiring, thing for rock and roll heads and metal heads, but you can still find some inspiration from some, like Sturgill Simpson. He's a country
Yes,
artist.
I actually have listened to him, and I do like his stuff because my drummer introduced me to him.
Yeah, he's great.
So I was like, okay, yeah, this is actually really good. We listened
Yeah.
to like an album on the way to a show, I think. So.
But yeah, do you explore different types of genres, or do you kind of stay in your lane? Or
I do. So I guess for my mom as well, like she would just play CMT. I don't know if is it CMT?
Yeah, CMT.
yeah.
I just remember the music videos, but she also really liked new wave, so she loved like the Psychedelic Furs and the Cure as well. So I did kind of get exposed to them from her listening to that as well.
It's the second time you brought up the Cure, and I love the Cure.
I just saw
They're
them live,
fantastic.
so they're kind of on my brain.
Okay, yeah, I saw them a while back. It's been quite a few years now, but it was pretty awesome, man. Yeah, they started the show with pictures.
Yeah, it was
like,
early on in the
Yeah,
set
I was
list. I
like,
think it
oh
started-
wow, okay, we're going
Yeah.
there now. Because that's like my favorite song by the Cure. It's such a
Yeah.
good song.
It's hard to pick one for me, but that's
Well, a lot of
up
people
there.
love Friday I'm in Love or Boys Don't Cry, but I'm like, nah, Pictures where it's at, especially when you see it live. It's such a good song.
Yeah.
Live. But
It was great.
now, when you write music, are you trying to emulate anything, or are you consciously trying to stay different, or do you have a specific sound you're trying to create?
Yeah, I'm consciously trying to not sound too much like my influences. I think in the guitar tone and the way that I do vocals, it's there. But yeah, I just want to take all the genres I like the subgenres of rock, and kind of blend them into one thing that's kind of different. So that way, yeah, it doesn't sound too much like another band.
And you do most of the writing, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to the bandmates for keeping up, right?
Well, yeah, I mean this new lineup it's a lot more collaborative. But yeah, since the members changed so much, I guess I just kind of was like, well, it's gonna be sticky if I get people doing other stuff, so it'd be best just to.
No, that makes sense.
You know.
A lot of people do that too. Yeah. I don't understand how, but I think it's great that people do. When I was in a band, I had a hard enough time just writing a bass line, much less a lead, drum, all that stuff. But the name True Lilith, how'd you land on that? Like, talk a little bit about that.
Well, I really liked the Ring of Lilith, and I knew that was like a character in Jewish mythology. So she was Adam's first wife, and she didn't want to submit to him, so she was cast away and became a demon. And I was like, well, that's cooler than Eve, who cares about that? So yeah, I definitely wanted to bring that energy. The name Lilith was already taken, so I was like, I'm gonna have to change this, tweak it a little bit. But really, it's actually an astrology term. So yeah, it's like a mix of all the fantasy things, like astrology, mythology. But yeah, it's a term in a person's birth chart. So your sun sign, moon sign, all that stuff. I was really into it. I still am. But yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit? Like, teach me something about it.
Yeah.
So in the astrological chart, True Lilith is a term that is it reference or does it mean something?
Yeah, so it's a specific aspect. There's your sun sign, moon sign. I'm sure you know your sun signs.
I know I'm a Gemini. That's like the extent of my knowledge.
Well, there's so much more to it, and that's why at first I was like, well, I guess I'm a Libra, but I don't really relate to that because I'm not super sociable. Then I found out I had a Pisces moon, and I was like, oh, that makes sense why I'm more kind of reserved and sensitive and all this stuff. But there's a lot more to it. You have a sign in every house and planet. So yeah, your True Lilith is basically your shadow self. It's your darker subconscious desires that might be taboo, and I just like, bringing stuff that is taboo out and just being like controversial with it. I don't know, but not in a
Okay.
bad way, in a good way. So that way,
So you're channeling that energy for good.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I have my oldest daughter. She could have this conversation with you all day long. In fact, the painting up there by the bar, the dark side of the moon, you'll notice that the prism has clouds inside of it, and she painted that for me for my birthday one year. And when she gave it to me, she said, "I put the clouds in the prism because you're a Gemini, which is an air sign." And I was like,
Yeah.
"That's cool." I still don't really know what it means, but thank you.
Yeah, it's like your elemental symbol. Yeah, that's really cool.
Because there's earth, air, fire, and water.
Well, I get like
Yeah.
the element. I get
Yeah.
the 4 elements. I mean, I don't know what it means about me.
You'll have to know your like date of birth and put all that in. Just Google like birth chart. You'll figure out all kinds of stuff.
And you need to know the time
Yeah.
where you were born.
I actually do know the time I was born. Do you know the time you were born?
Yes, I know the day too.
Do you?
Yeah, 8:43.
I was born at 10:35 in the morning.
Yep. So all that goes into play, even your location, and then where every planet was on that time and date, and your latitude from where you were born.
It's a lot more specific. Yeah.
Yes.
So
if you
all-
want
does-
really in detail.
So the theory here is that all of that information, you what you get out of that is it tells you about like what your personality or
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
all about like who you are as a person.
Because if you think, like you said, you're a Gemini, right?
Yeah.
If all Geminis were alike, it would be very boring. But then you've got, like, wherever your moon and your sun were and your all the other planets at that time, and it just goes into, like, okay, you're a Gemini, but you might do this as a characteristic of this sign. Or this sign.
So being born at 10:35 a.m. in Gastonia, North Carolina in May of 1979 makes me a glutton for punishment.
Pretty much, probably. Apparently so.
This shit is hard, y'all.
You're just overthinking it.
Baby, I don't know. But all right, so you decide you're going to call the band True Lilith. You're like, I'm going to write stuff. You get a band going. You said the lineup keeps changing. Is that just because of conflicting schedules? Is it, what's you've got? I think you've got a great lineup now. You've got a great aesthetic on stage. There's good energy when you play. You've performed here once, and we should probably mention that True Lilith will be here on Sunday, July 30th, with Blank State and Inkswell. I'm excited to see Inkswell. Inkswell's the drummer. His dad comes in for open mic. Kenan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Shout out to Kenan. Love you, man.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see them. They were supposed to be on a bill back in February, and then somebody got sick or something happened, and so I'm glad they're getting a chance to get back in here. And then you're also going to be back in September
Yeah, that'll be fun.
with Neptune Flyer, Leaving Echoes. I know I'm leaving somebody out. I'm so sorry.
Is Evil Leaf on that too?
Think
Is Evil Leaf on
Is
that?
Evil Leaf on
I
that?
think so.
Possibly. I'm so sorry. I feel like an asshole now.
I have a terrible memory. I'm like impressed that you remember all this stuff.
You have a lot of stuff going.
It's an encyclopedia up there. Yeah, thank God for Google Calendar.
Yes.
Telling you,
Yes.
yeah. But no, so yeah, you can come see True Lilith on Sunday the 30th or September 2nd, which I believe is a Saturday. You guys, we were talking before the show, you do a few shows a month. Is there are you having fun, or is there a goal you're trying to achieve? What's the plan?
Mainly we, I guess, want more exposure. So we just enjoy playing shows, and it's nice to, just kind of have exposure too. But for me, it's like I feel like playing shows is something you have to practice because I'm a very shy, reserved person. So like it was very not natural to me to be on stage. Like I liked writing songs and playing, guitar and all, but that was very nerve-wracking at first. And I don't know. I like whenever artists, like, that's why I guess I don't connect to pop. Like, they don't usually write their songs. And I'm like, if you're going to write your song, you need to sing it and you need to play it because it's more genuine.
Yeah.
I just, I've never really connected to like pop stars. that-
Reading or them playing somebody else's.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like the idea of it. So I was like, well, I'm gonna have to get over it. So yeah, it's really helped me to kind of practice playing shows, because at first I was really shy and I was all like, which is fine. I don't want to be like Kiss up there, but it's definitely helped me kind of come into my own and get more confident.
Well, when you guys played here a little while back, you did have a little bit of a swagger about you up there. Which is cool. Yeah, you want that. You want to be confident on stage. Are you getting into that headspace where like the stage kind of you're it's like a character, so to speak,
An alter ego, yeah.
like an alter ego up there. You can kind of all those fears kind of wash away. You kind of get that feeling up there of
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have an alter ego. It was just me. I think that's why I didn't really discover that trick or think about it like that until, a little bit later on. But, yeah, I was just, like, being myself up there, so I didn't really, like, put on...
So who you are off stage is who you are on stage as well?
Pretty much.
Or, like, who you've become from doing that?
like magnified. Like you kind of all of your traits kind of get bigger when you have that stage, and that's cool. You have an outlet now. You know what I mean? It's something that no one can take away from you. And you talk about exposure. Have you considered branching out of like the Charlotte scene? Like, have you been able to get gigs outside of Charlotte? Like
Yeah, we actually just toured back in May. We went all the way up to New York. We went to Brooklyn. It was not super planned out, so we just kind of went up there. We learned a lot about touring though. Yeah, we went like New Jersey, Baltimore, Maryland, Richmond, Virginia. We went down to Greenville, Asheville. So yeah, we went.
How were you received up north?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah,
It
good
was-
crowds.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
The one thing that I'm jealous about when I see the big crowds in the New York, the New Jersey, even like around D.C. and Richmond area, that there's so many people there that like you can get the exposure in those bigger
Yeah.
cities. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I'm curious, how did you do in Asheville?
Asheville, really good. We played there a lot, actually. We played about maybe 5-6 times.
I was like, I'm curious about Asheville because Asheville has its own little weird thing going on, and I love it, and it's great. And I was like,
Yeah.
I think they probably did pretty well in Asheville.
Yeah, that's my favorite city in North Carolina.
Yeah.
It's very artsy, and I just
is.
feel like time I get in there, into the city, I just kind of feel like, I feel very at home there.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like I always get really I get compliments there. People be like, I love your style or outfit, whereas here, I don't really get that. So, yeah, definitely love Asheville.
Yeah, Asheville's like this little oasis in the Bible Belt where people aren't so uptight about.
Yeah, that's not my vibe.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it is frustrating. I mean, I'll speak on it for a minute. Doing what we do, the goal here was to give everybody opportunity. Not just artists but people as well, an opportunity to get out and be entertained. But so we'll book. We've had everything from a country gospel band to a drag show.
That's awesome.
And then the one drag show we host, you get a handful of people that we're never going to support this place because it's like.
That's dumb.
Yeah, it's like you don't have that in other parts of the country. Atlanta, Asheville, anywhere up north. Like people don't do. It's like specific to this region in the South, where if you do, what you want me to do, honky tonk every week, like that's boring.
It is.
You mix it up. And the funny thing is, when we have had like honky tonk and country shows, they don't show up. Mm-hmm. So what is it you want from me? It's a tough business, especially in a place in the South where there's. I mean, I'm not going to say there's not much entertainment business in North Carolina because there is. They shoot a lot of movies here.
For sure.
We've had some successful artists come out of this area. It's just the population is, it's difficult. I'm trying to toe the line here, not sound like a jerk, but sometimes you're just like fuck you. The way people react to what you're doing, it's like. What are you doing? Sitting at home shopping at Walmart with your fucking sweatpants on?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I gotta say, I love what you guys are doing. Like, I think this is great. That there's finally a really nice venue in Gastonia because really like we're not from Charlotte, but we're like Charlotte associated because that's where we always play. All the venues like the Milestone, which are also great. Love the milestone.
Yeah, you guys get
Yeah.
a lot of time on their stage, which is cool.
But yeah, I saw that too. There's a lot of. I was like, oh, a lot of milestone gigs.
Yeah, I love that there's places like Skylark and Snug and Tommy's and Petra's that are doing the thing, providing those opportunities for young artists such as yourself, getting those out because we probably have one of the bigger stages around here, which was intentional to provide that opportunity, and we're finally, it's taken months, but we're finally starting to see your generation come out to shows.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was just a lack of awareness or what.
I think it was the pandemic. I think people took it for granted because I remember before whenever we'd play shows, like not nearly as much of a turnout, and I just think that people took it for granted, and now they're seeing that they can get out, they want to. So I think it was a blessing in disguise.
To some, yeah. I mean, for us, it was a double-edged sword. It on one hand, it gave us more time to prepare and promote and all that stuff. But on the other hand, it skyrocketed the cost and resources it took to get open and stuff. But I mean, I'm glad we didn't open before the pandemic. That would have been awful.
Yeah. That would have been awful.
But yeah, I think you're right because I still see people will still come in here with a mask on, and I'm like, it's over, man. Like,
yeah, and people. I mean, I knew I was like, it's not gonna last forever. I was like, I just need to take this time to recharge and maybe write some new stuff. And
Right. Now, your first album, that was before the pandemic? Is that when you released that
it
one?
was-
Or like right at it?
it was after we just had
After?
like
Okay.
a single and maybe like a couple like demos, but
See, all
that's
those
it.
years have run together for me, so it's like ends up
Yeah.
being just like one big year. But then you have the new single Urban Decay, right?
Yes, and that's the one we're doing the music video for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there an album coming with that one?
There is. We're working on it. We're gonna take some time to maybe try and get more exposure and like, I don't know, have more of a following before we release that. So yeah, it's gonna be on our next album that we'll do, and we're recording it now, filming it, not the song, but yeah, like the video.
Right.
So I expect maybe September, October it'll come out.
oh, it'd be
Okay,
great
cool.
if
That's
if
awesome.
it was put together before the September 2nd show. We could celebrate
It
it.
might be, yeah, possibly.
That would be cool.
It all depends.
We could have a video showing.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to do that for you. Anything we can,
Yeah.
for these local bands, especially the ones that are doing the original stuff. And
That's
and
yeah,
writing
that's
music.
what I was gonna say. Like cover bands are cool and all, but I feel like original music really needs to.
Yes.
Well, cover
agree.
bands, I get why most bars just bring in cover bands, don't bring in a lot of original artists. Like, it makes total sense. People love to go out and sing along,
Yeah.
Last night we had probably the best cover band in this whole area. We had Scandal here. Shout out to Mark and Daryl and those guys. They were fantastic. Everybody's having a good time singing along, and a lot of people are reluctant to get out and try something new. It's like, it reminds me of when I was a teenager and I would go, I know this is going to sound weird to you, I would go to the music store to buy CDs to
Oh
play.
yeah, I have records and CDs. I collect them.
Right.
You'd hear a song on the radio from a band, right? And you're like, man, that song's killer. And then you go and you're dropping, as a 17, 16-year-old kid, you're dropping $18, $16, $17 on a CD, and you go pop it in, and that's the one song on the album that's good.
Yeah.
The rest of the album sucks, and you're like, oh, I want my money back. Which isn't an issue anymore, but that's the kind of feeling I think that people have about going to shows where they don't know the music. It's like, am I going to spend 10, 15, 20 bucks and then not like the music? And like, I get the trepidation there. I do. I understand it. But the truth of the matter is, we've been doing this, haven't even been in it a year yet, but we've yet to have a truly bad show. Like, everyone that's played the States has come in here and just given a great performance. And, even if the music's not my thing, it's no secret. I'm not a huge country guy. But even the country bands we've had here have been fantastic.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
you can look at, it might not be your thing, but their technique and how they play and, this guitar style, it all comes together, and you can respect each individual person for their talents and how they write and how they play.
Plus, we're local. It's cheap entertainment. Sometimes you walk away and you're like, I didn't even realize I like that kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, when you were talking about the CDs, it made me think, well, CDs aren't really a thing anymore that you rush out and buy. So,
Streaming.
it's
it's all
streaming
streaming,
now.
yeah.
But, you pay for, your streaming stuff. But coming to a show is no more than a CD would have cost.
Yeah, it's
It's
usually
the
pretty cheap.
experience too.
Yeah,
I
the
think
experience.
it takes a lot of courage to write original stuff and
Yeah.
get up there and like sing songs that you wrote that people are gonna judge maybe and pick apart.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before here on the show, where like you're burying your soul to strangers.
Right.
Every time you get on a stage in front of people, like that's intimidating. It does take courage is the right word for it. It takes courage to get up there and be like, this is who I am. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever and I've seen a lot of bands that are like local and have original music, even like I guess outside of Charlotte, but I don't think I've ever seen one that I was like, oh, like that was a bad experience. Like I feel like just the connection of the band or the artist, like sharing their work and their inner mind with the audience is more of a treat, than anything. So.
And plus, if you get out there and you find a band that you like, it's like, and I say this all the time, it's an adventure. You've got to want that adventure. And then if you end up finding a band and you keep going to their shows, wherever, and then you start meeting other people who are a little more like you, and then before you know it, you have friends.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, man, what's up?
You're getting at the point I was about to make.
Okay.
Like the byproduct of doing this art thing that we all do is when you get out and experience it, like you create new relationships and
Yeah.
friends. Like one of my favorite things about doing what we do is when I'm back there behind the bar and I look out and I see people dancing. Dancing
Yeah.
gets me. Every time I see people dancing, that makes me the happiest.
Yeah.
Especially when it's kids. When you get kids out there dancing and doing moshing.
Yeah.
But we've had shows where couples will get up and dance together and not just moshing, just like legit just dancing with a big smile on their face. Everyone's having a good time, and it's like that's why we do this. That's why all of us do this
Yeah.
is to create that experience for people. And then you get to go home and have a good time. That's why we kick people out for getting too rowdy. We had to send a guy home last night because he was over at the bar. Like everyone's having a blast, everyone's in a great mood, right? And this guy is just like yelling at somebody, and we're like, hey, what's the problem? And he just had he's just one of those guys. He had a few drinks and just wanted to get rowdy. And I was like, Justin. Get the fuck out of here!
Right.
He's killing the vibe.
Don't kill the vibe, dude.
But you get to walk away having had a real visceral life experience, and you've created relationships that could potentially last a lifetime.
I mean, I have friends who I have met from going to shows years ago,
Yeah.
and they're still friends. And that is a byproduct of going to a show.
I've got Facebook friends that I met at festivals.
Yeah.
Christy and I we've been to California several times at festivals, and we've got 3 different like couples that we've met at these festivals that we stay in contact with, and we keep up with
Yeah.
each other just from having met one day at a festival and hung out and had a few beers together and watched a few bands together, and now we have these friendships. There's this one couple that lives in I don't want to get too there's this one couple that lives out west, and there's this vodka that's made out there that's made from the water from Salt Lake in
cool.
Utah. And so we were talking about liquor, and they told us about this, and then I told them about the rum distillery we have. So we send each other bottles of liquor, you know what I mean, to try like something
Yeah.
from our hometown and stuff like that.
That's cool.
Like those are cool things that you don't get to have if you stay at home all the time.
Yeah.
So from playing shows, have you seen like regulars like coming back?
Yeah, definitely. And it's helped me like make friends too.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then I'm like, well, if they like my music, or like, even the kind of music that I listen to.
Then they must be cool.
Yeah. that's like the main thing that I kind of make friends about is, like I talk about music. I'm
Yeah.
like, what kind of music do you like? Do you play
Exactly.
instruments? And then, it's cool to just meet people and like maybe jam with them, even if you're not in a band with them. Like, super
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, you should come to open mic sometime.
Yeah.
Seriously, you
That'd
should.
be cool.
I think you would have a blast here at open mic. I think you'd be well received. I don't think we have your voice here on Wednesdays.
No.
We really don't have someone that does what you do here.
Open mic is like it's almost like a variety show. Because
Yeah, it can feel that way
it's a
sometimes.
variety show because we've had comics, we've had poetry, and all genres of music so far, and some of them. But it's a variation. There's just like it's a whole bunch of different stuff, and everybody is so supportive. They're like, "Oh my gosh, that's awesome!" Even if it's just the beginners who are like, "Hey, I've been playing around the guitar, I'm learning," and they just play what they've learned.
Yeah, you got to practice,
Exactly.
playing live. You have
Yeah.
to, like, I had to learn guitar. I'm self-taught, and I had to teach myself that. And then I was like, okay, now I have to learn how to perform, which, some people are kind of naturally more performers, but I'm not. So I kind of had to learn how to do that.
Have you, you're young, you're female. Have you run into, like, how do you say this without sounding
Have you run into bullshit?
like there's a vulnerability.
Oh, yeah.
There's a vulnerability to being a young female in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Have you run into any situations? Have you had to like put your foot down or?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
like-
yeah.
like
I don't hesitate to because I want to be taken seriously. But yeah, just like misogyny stuff like that. I've had people kind of be like, "Oh, you're really good for a girl," and that kind of backhanded
Thing to
compliment.
say.
And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, whatever, fuck you." Like I just
I figured that's what basically it's the bullshit of being a female vocalist that happens so much and like getting so much crap if you go and try out for a band that is looking for. They're like, we don't want a female vocalist, and it's that. Well, fuck you then.
yeah.
Well, there's something happened in like the late 2000s, early 2010s. You started to see a whole lot more female-fronted heavy metal rock and roll bands. There's like this wave of female-fronted and like smart guys, smart guys that are musicians were like, let's put a female voice to this and see how that goes. And there's been some really successful, female-fronted bands, way more than there were when we were coming up. When we were coming up,
Yes.
it was No Doubt, it was Hole, it was what's the chick's name? Sheryl Crow. There weren't a whole lot of like very, very successful female-fronted bands, and now you're seeing them all over the place. And then some bands are doing the male-female thing where like you got a female singer and a male screamer.
Yeah,
or
that's
they'll
pretty
flip
cool.
that out.
There's like a Ginger. I don't know if y'all have heard
I
of him.
love. I just
That's
saw
a
them
perfect
recently.
example. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not really super big into metal. I do like a lot of like rock and metal, but mainly it's like post-punk for me, kind of shoegaze, dark wave music. But yeah, like I remember I watched a video of Ginger and I was just blown away. I was like, how on
That chick's
earth?
like 4'8". Like she's so
That just
small.
proves it right there,
Yeah, she's tiny. Because I went and saw them at the Fillmore or at the Underground last year, and I was so impressed. I mean, she is amazing. She can sing and scream very well.
Yeah, it's really
Better than
impressive.
most men. You know what I mean? Like, she's great.
Well, see, and I really like, Michael's like, hey, we're bringing in True Lilith. So I was like, okay, cool. So I went and listened to everything. And I hate to say it. Sometimes I can be a music snob about stuff because for my personal taste, I am a music snob. And I was like, ooh, I like this. It's like you said, it's the snarky, it's punk. Because I'm more of a punk person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I dig this.
I think the snobbery goes away with age, or at least it has for me. For some people, it doesn't. But
It's
when
not-
you're coming up and you're
Yeah.
in a scene, you're like, "This is what we're doing." It's like this is the thing.
And
You
it
know?
might be because there's for a while there weren't as many after that the pop punk era that came connected to
Exactly.
that, like the emo screamo stuff. It kind of died off, and there
Yeah.
wasn't anything, and it's just kind of like it was like almost like a hole for the punk scene. And now I'm seeing that, and so it's not necessarily a snobbery thing. It's just that's what I prefer.
Well, punk rock is what gave birth to metal. Like,
Yeah.
like if you're a metalhead and you don't like punk, then you're not really a metalhead. Like
Right.
you don't get
Yeah.
it. Like you don't get where it's coming from. It's just punk on steroids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
Oh yeah, that's
If
exactly
somebody
what
took
it is.
punk rock and classical music and created heavy
Yeah,
metal.
it's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It's really awesome.
And heavy metal put on some hell of a shows like Friday night.
Friday night was so dope.
stage presence of some of those bands. I was like, there was one. The very first band came out and they had their amps lit with red lights, and the light that we have back here is blue. So I was like, I went out there to video. I was like, oh no, that doesn't look right. So I came back here and turned this to red to match the rest of the stage.
Oh.
And I was
Yeah,
like,
they were very performative.
oh my gosh,
Yeah.
all of them were. And I just love the dramatic in that dramatic touch a lot of metal bands, even if they don't come out with, all the extras and, they're just in their shorts and jeans, but they still, when they get out there and they scream and they growl, it's just like, that's the drama.
Yeah, for sure.
So, how much thought have you put into your stage performance? Like, do you think at all about like I'm going to do this at this point, or do you just kind of get out there and like we're going to roll?
No,
with
I
it?
don't think about it.
You think about it?
It's like, with the multitasking of having to do vocals and guitar and then tap dance with my pedal board. I don't have a lot of time to move, space to move around. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have any signature moves. I can barely stand up without falling over. I'm not coordinated, so I don't
feel
really.
you on that one.
Yeah, and I have almost fell many times. I'll be like maybe on one leg trying to do something, then I just kind of have to catch myself. Yeah, I don't really have that coordination, so I feel like there's kind of a awkward charm, maybe.
That's a good term.
Yeah, I've never heard it put that way.
Yeah, I'd say I'm very awkward, but I don't try to hide it. I don't see the point. Like, just gonna be myself, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, just show everybody
I-
your true self. That's all
I honestly think that if you keep doing what you're doing, that awkwardness is going to go completely away. I mean, just from having this conversation with you, I can see that like you're going to become a voice in the scene. As long as you stay around here, you're going to get more and more comfortable in your skin. Like you said, you want more exposure. Just the fact that you want to keep doing it, and that you're hungry like that, it's going to garner people's respect and adoration, and you'll build a fan. I mean, I think you've got a pretty decent fan base. People love you guys. When we put out there that True Lilith is coming, people really respond to that. So.
Yeah. It's mainly in Charlotte, too, I feel like, because we play there so much. But, I'd like to get more people in Gastonia coming out to, like, punk shows and like, just because I guess I'm from here. I'm from Belmont. But, it's right.
Yeah, it's
You
so
hear
nice
that,
to
Belmont
be on
people?
around
You
the
hear that,
same.
Belmont people? It's okay to come into Gastonia.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You will survive.
You'll be stronger for it.
Yeah. But yeah, so is Inkswell. Inkswell is from Belmont, Gastonia too.
Yeah.
We're friends, so yeah, it's really cool. We're I think probably the only maybe two bands that I really know that are from here. I think I know Yaller is from
Shelby.
So yeah, kind of close, but
When I saw y'all, I was so excited too.
yeah, we're playing with them in November.
In November, yeah.
So
Awesome.
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's right. True Lilith has another show here in November for the.
Yep.
We haven't made the official announcement. I think we've got the ticket link up, but yeah, it's going to be our third Women of Rock
Yeah.
series thing. We're doing twice a year. I love it. I think it's great because it gives us an opportunity. Like for this one in November, we have 5 female-fronted bands that are all like punk and hardcore. And it's like each band has their own little different sound, but they're all in that kind of punk rock genre. It's going to be fun.
I am excited that y'all is coming back because I told you how my kid was here. I have a 13-year-old, and it was like all the other bands were playing. And not to say that they were male fronted, but this was female fronted. It caught my kid's attention, and I saw the head come up, and I was like, okay, you want to go to the front of the stage like this? Let's go. And it was, when are they coming back? When is the green-haired girl coming back?
Galaxy's great. She's another young female that
Yeah.
will be a strong voice in this.
Yes,
in this
very
scene.
much so.
And she's super supportive. She shows up to other band shows and
Yeah, that's super important. You
Yeah,
know?
it really is.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to talk her to come to y'all's show because I'm pretty sure my kid would like it. But
Okay.
I love seeing
Cool.
the younger generation of females be like, Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, and that's like, I think, because, our keyboard player is also, her name's Anna. We did a interview kind of maybe a couple months ago, but we were kind of on the same topic, and she just said, she was like, I just want to show other, like, young females that they can do it too.
Yeah.
And, so.
Yeah, and
inspire
inspiring the
them.
next generation is a big, it's a priority for us as well.
Yeah.
Is to that's why we're an all ages venue, is because we want kids.
Yeah, that's so great too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, not to be hyperbolic about it, but you could potentially save a kid's life by giving them a community to be a part of.
Yeah.
And the right type of music that just clicks with them.
Like, I wish so badly that whenever I was in high school, and that, like, I had somewhere like this to go that was close to me, because I wanted to go out to shows, but I wasn't old enough maybe, and I couldn't drive to Charlotte. My parents, like, couldn't take me. But yeah, this would have been so cool if I was in the all ages bracket and not over 18 or 21.
Yeah, it is fun to watch, because I get to watch from back here. And I get to see all the young kids, and I get to see their reaction that the people behind them don't get to see, and I love it.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's been fun to watch Arielle come into her own. When I first asked her to take over as a stage manager, the first couple of nights I could see the nervousness, and it speaks to a little bit about what you talked
Dude,
about
I was
earlier.
so nervous.
I could see, but now she gets up there and she just holds court. You know what I mean? She's directing traffic. She's if people aren't like getting into the vibe, she'll call them out. We had some people the other night just hanging out on the wall. She's like, "Y'all wallflowers, need to get your asses over here."
And they were dressed so cute, and I was like, y'all dressed up too cute to sit up against the wall. And they were like, "Oh, thank you, we're just shy." I'm like, well, get out there and show off that outfit. That outfit's adorable.
That was definitely me. I was like, shy to like dance or kind of mosh at shows, but I definitely being in a comfortable environment makes you feel a lot more, apt to do that. So.
Yeah, it creates an atmosphere that makes it okay. It makes you comfortable in the space. All right, so before we wrap up, let's give people the rundown. Tell people where to find your music. Tell people where to follow, and if you've got any other upcoming shows you want to plug away, and we'll let you get back to it.
All right. Well, we're True Lilith. We're on Spotify under that name, Bandcamp, YouTube. We have a YouTube channel. We're working on that music video, and then we're on all streaming. Next show is here, so come to that one for sure.
And that's July 30th?
Yeah,
Yes,
Sunday the 30th. The 30th, yeah.
With Inkswell and Blank State, so that'll be a lot of fun. Our next shows are just kind of local while we write some new music and prepare for the music video that we're working on. But yeah, that's about it that's going on right now for us.
Sweet. Chloe, I really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you for coming and talking to us. Check out True Lilith. Come to the show on the 30th. Support local music. And we're going to get out of here. Peace and love.
Yeah, bye.